Live from Bauhaus Studios in beautiful downtown Port Credit, it's the Tom and Rick Show. Tonight's guests are Ward 1 Councillor Stephen Dasko, social media guru Laura Dunkley, nurse and musical guest Sarah Rome, musical guest Alexander Quayle, and now here are your hosts Tom Barlow and Rickford Van Dyke.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tom and Rick Show. Rick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
You know, our friend Ragwax from the Pink Leather Jackets is in the final four of the 97.7 Hits FM band search.
What a great thing for a great band.
He's got a ton of fans that watch this show, so please vote for the Pink Leather Jackets at the 97.7 Hits FM rock show. We're very excited about today's first guest. His name is Stephen Dasko. He is a city councillor in charge, I guess we say in charge, in charge of Ward 1, which has our own beautiful Port Credit. Welcome to the show, Stephen Dasko. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Tom, Rick, gotta say, awesome show that you guys have going right now. This is something that we're in a bit of a void right now with some great local live music, and what is keeping everybody plugged in on what's going on and what could be going on and what will be going on is what you guys are doing. So I gotta say, hats off to you. Keep up what you're doing.
Well, we appreciate that. And just before we get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening at the core of Port Credit, tell us maybe vaguely for people that don't know what a city councillor does. I certainly don't. What do you do?
All right. Out of the three levels of government that we have, the municipal government I find the most interesting because, quite frankly, it affects your everyday life. As soon as you walk out your front door, it is a municipal thing. Whether it's having your walk shoveled, cleared off, your streets cleared off, on the regional side, your garbage collected, your recycling, things like that. All fall under the municipal purview. And then also we fall under what's called the Municipal Act from the province. And then when it comes to planning, building, and things like that, there's certain rules that we have to follow that they've set out for us. And then we try to help work with the developers, the community, to try to come up with collaborative approaches. That's my approach, is to be collaborative, to come up with something that's good for all.
Okay.
So a little of everything like that, and then even the very sexy things, like if your ditch is plugged and things like that, you would be calling your local councillor for funds, things like that.
You get those calls? My ditch is plugged. Excuse me, my ditch is plugged.
Get over here, stat!
Like you're gonna go over there personally and take care of this? I've got a rake and I'm coming. You know,
kind of like that, but a little different.
Well, yes, I have seen people online screaming your name in caps with many exclamation marks. But as you alluded to earlier, we are in a new universe when it comes to bars and patios, which is where Rick and I and our musician friends do most of their work. And I know that you are attempting to open up patios for live music, because as of right now, 5 o'clock is the point at which you cannot have noise on a patio. Is that correct?
The current noise bylaw, as it was, and this is an old bylaw. There's good and bad things with the noise bylaw. Right now, I think it's pretty outdated for a lot of things. One of them being live music. So if we were to have down in Port Credit, it is usually buzzing. We've got people that want to play live music. Especially in this kind of nice weather that we have. Currently, the bylaw states that 5 p.m. is as late as you can go to play live music outdoors. And so what I've been pushing for in the new noise review bylaw, we actually did a meeting not too long ago for the public to get their input over at Clark Hall, and I've got to say, to me, it's I think we came up with something reasonable, and that was 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, or sorry, I should say Sunday through Thursday is 7 p.m. and then Friday and Saturday 10 p.m. which to me sounds a little bit more equitable, and that's where people can actually enjoy some live music, and also those that are in the residential areas as well won't be kept up all night.
It doesn't have to be a full band either. It could just be like something like a quiet DJ or a person with an acoustic guitar or something like that. It doesn't have to be loud. I mean, Saturday night, Friday night in Port Credit, you hear cars, bikes, loud, all night till like at least 12, 1 in the morning. I'm sure a little guy with a guitar is not going to be that bad.
I totally agree. Now, like, excellent point. I've never been in a band that's as loud as that. Sometimes.
Whoa.
Now, I guess the complexity for the club owners is they have to maybe build a little stage, put in some infrastructure, hire a band, do all this stuff. How are they supposed to plan, you know, the summer or their future if there's not clarity on when decisions are going to come down and how that's going to impact the club owners?
I think that's the problem for a lot of folks. And, you know, it's interesting because with the city, we are, a lot of people call them children of the province. We fall under what I mentioned earlier called the Municipal Act. So whenever people talk about the city of Mississauga, they sometimes refer to it as the corporation. And the city is actually a corporation from the province. So they basically tell us, okay, you're allowed to do this, and then we make it happen. So we come up with a framework to actually put it all together. The latest one that happened that way was with the with patios, outdoor patios, in terms of, okay, all of a sudden, bang, you can have them.
Yes.
They made an announcement on Monday, said as of Wednesday you could do it, and then the city and the region were scrambling to figure out how that all kind of comes together.
I'm super glad that happened,
Yes,
because
me too.
our friends at Spice,
the
you know, Shore, a lot of these venues are really only surviving now because that was fast tracked.
Because the government let them do it.
Yeah.
That was huge, absolutely huge.
saved a lot
And
of
so to
business.
have all of that kind of snap in together, it is amazing to now go along. Really good local photographer, Stephen Urani, has been chronicling a whole bunch of what's going on from a Port Credit lens during the whole pandemic. He's been filming most of this stuff in black and white. And at the height of the pandemic, when everything was shut down, he took a picture from pretty much Lakeshore and here, Ontario, shooting towards State Bank, and there was not one person on the road. There was not a car on the road. Nothing. It was awful. And now you see things coming alive with the live music outside. You know, takeout people coming back and forth and all that kind of stuff, and things are looking alive again. So that. It's fantastic to see that we're moving in that direction. We're moving in the right trajectory.
And the bylaw, sorry for interrupting there, the bylaw so you're working on now, when do you think we'll have some resolution where we might be able to say to artists, to musicians, hey, it looks like we're going to be able to play on patios till 10, or when will there be some resolution so the clubs can say, hey, let's plan for this?
So it's interesting. It actually came up last week at council, and that there was two parts to the bylaw. And so part of it was deferred until September.
You're going to defer decision on patios till the fall?
It was a package of a whole bunch of things, and that
Probably
included
a lot of other things
leaf
in there.
blowers, it included all kinds of other things too. It wasn't just patios. So so the first part of the noise bylaw that got through was to deal with. Right now, the city of Mississauga does not have decibel counting when it comes to exhaust noise, for example, which has been plaguing the Port Credit area for every year, but this year is even worse just because with COVID. I don't think a lot of folks have things like soccer, baseball, Blue Jays, whatever to do. So, hey, why not put one of these fancy dancy mufflers on your car and come down and rip up the streets of Port Credit? And as we hear in the background right now, the timing is perfect, right? And so the first part of the noise bylaw was to do with exhaust and actually put a decibel reading in place. So so we've actually got a study ongoing right now by a professional engineering firm to put a decibel count in, which is the first time we have that.
90 dB.
So it'll be somewhere around that, and then going forward into fall is when we're going to have some real structure when it comes to you know, patio and that type of thing.
Right.
But what I will say is, if we get to the point where we're allowed to have the live music out and playing again, very similar to what we did with patios until we got that resolved. What I am going to propose to council, and I'm speaking now. This is live. Here we are on the Tom and Rick Show. Is I will bring forward to council. We need council to buy in and vote in favor of it. But I will bring in a temporary noise bylaw exemption to go with the 7 o'clock and the 10 o'clock.
Well, that sounds amazing. And you know, just as a cautionary tale, I know there's people that don't like live music just because maybe that's when they, you know, have nap time, or maybe for whatever reason, people are entitled to live in a neighborhood that's not bombarding them with music. Fair enough. However, one of the reasons Port Credit is the exciting place to live is because we have these things. And my experience, 20 years ago, I used to play a lot of shows in Oakville. And there was a huge movement by a handful of neighbors to clamp down on any and all noise. And now there's virtually no nightlife in downtown Oakville. Oakville's a beautiful place. My Oakville friends, I'm not dumping on you guys, but you're not saying, hey, let's go catch a couple of bands in Oakville. And the entire sort of, all of the people that loved live music now come to Port Credit, which is great.
Burlington.
Or from Burlington.
Yeah, everybody comes here.
So I think we have to understand that sometimes the squeaky wheel should not make the rules.
Yeah, and I think everything in moderation as well. You know, to take a heavy hand like that is, I just don't see it. You know, growing up down in this neck of the woods, I remember coming down to Gray's, to the Swiss Marmite, to some other spots. And, you know, if you wanted to get into a great bar fight at the end of the night, you came down and there was not a lot going on. You couldn't say that it was vibrant. I mean, the one thing that we're concerned about now with COVID is the sheer number of people that have been coming down to the, to the Lakeshore corridor, and always making sure that people got their masks on and things like that when they're out in public. But what I will say is, the vibrancy of Port Credit is that there are things going on. You've got live music happening. You've got patios happening.
Festivals.
You've got people that are walking around. The festivals. Oh man, the
Canada
festivals.
Day down here.
This past weekend would have been Rib Fest, you know, and we didn't have that this year. Like, it's there's a huge, I think, missing spot in our hearts this year because the festivals aren't happening. And so having more people do what they need to do, whether it's wearing their masks, keeping their distance, doing what they have to do, we'll get over this sooner so we can get back to all the fun stuff that we love doing. And part of it is the vibrancy we're talking about in terms of live music.
Well, we appreciate that you're currently, and you heard it here first, you're currently working on a bylaw exemption. We really appreciate that. I'm sure the clubs do. I know the musicians do. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for making time on your schedule to come down here today and speak to us. And good luck with all the good work you're doing.
Thanks. And you guys keep up the great work because this is very cool.
Will do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Welcome back, my friends, in beautiful downtown Port Credit and surrounding suburbia and across the universe.
And across the world, if matter.
We have a very exciting guest who is interesting on two fronts because she is a nurse who was working right when the pandemic hit. And she's going to talk about her experience being a nurse on the front line. She's also a fantastic singer and musician. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sarah Rome. How are you, Sarah?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
So tell us about global pandemic. Bam, it happens, and you are on the front line. What did it feel like to be in the middle of it?
It was very scary. Knowing that this has never really happened in my time, at least. I remember hearing about the first case in January, and we had already started planning in the event that this actually did become a worldwide event. So we were really well prepped. But then we kept hearing more and more news, and we were following very closely with public health and the World Health Organization. And then, you know, everything hit the fan, and it was really challenging because I was segregated in one of our children's homes, taking care of youth who were all positive for COVID, and they tested positive for about a month. We had 90% of our staff who were off on whether it was refusal of work because of fear because of their families, or they actually contracted COVID themselves. So it was really, really challenging. There's been a lot of controversy about the people wearing masks these days. I can tell you from personal experience, wearing a full PPE for 12, 14, 16 hours a day is far worse than having to wear a mask when you go into the grocery store. So important to respect everyone's comfort level when things are opening up, but maintaining social distancing, keeping your hands clean, wearing your mask when you're out and about, because this virus is still very, very real, and it poses a huge risk for all age groups now that we're seeing, not just the elderly.
And people throw around the word hero a lot, but you knowingly and willingly were walking into a home that was filled with people who were positive for a disease that nobody really understood.
Right.
And so cheers to you for doing that. I don't know if I might have just said, you know what, let them figure that out. And because that is an unbelievably brave thing you're doing. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, we move along, and it's COVID, and you have another passion outside of helping people with their health, and that is music. What have you been doing since COVID to be a musician? Obviously, we can't play, so what have you been up to?
I've been fortunate enough to join in on my friend Rocky's live stream every Saturday. We do that at around 8:30-ish. Lots of covers. We have a weekly theme. His friends, he's got a lot of connections in the South, in the States.
Right.
So we're getting people joining in from actually all over the world, which is amazing.
That's super fun.
We have a ton of fun together. We're able to laugh at each other's mistakes. We're able to celebrate our successes. It's a ton of fun, and I'm very, very fortunate to have that as an outlet during.
And how can people find that?
You can find that on Facebook. You can find it on Rocky's Facebook or No Man Music.
No Man Music, and on Facebook, on your page?
On my page, yeah.
And that you're Sarah Rome?
Sarah Rome, yeah.
All right, so folks, look for Sarah Rome, and you will not be disappointed. She's a fantastic singer, and we are going to demonstrate just how fantastic she is after a short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited to have the very talented Sarah Rome. She has picked a song that I think is perfect for the times.
It is apropos.
Does
that work?
That does work. This is Sarah Rome, and this is Mad World.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I want to drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Made to feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me, look right through me. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Enlarge your world. Mad world. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find Sarah Rome on Facebook live Saturdays at 8:30. That's Sarah with an H, Rome as in the city. Thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? Rick, you know you're always talking about, well, how many views did that get and what's going on online? And we've got young friends, like our friend Bryce, who says, I can't believe you guys are on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing? And
we don't know how.
We don't know what's going on.
No, we don't know how to do that.
And we should know what's going on. So what do we do in that situation? We ask a professional.
That's
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, excited to have here today Laura Dunkley. She works for the city of Mississauga, and one of the things she's doing is trying to help musicians and artists promote themselves online. Welcome, Laura. So glad you could make it. How are you?
Great to be here. Thank you.
So let's start with the mistakes. what are musicians doing wrong? When you look at a page or you are interested in a band and you go to their Facebook or their Instagram,
right.
What hints could you say, stop doing that, it doesn't work?
Well, it's mostly, why aren't you here? I mean,
right.
I just can't find you. So somehow I have found the artist somewhere. Maybe someone shared a video, or I met them in the world pre-COVID live, or soon to be live again. And it's like, I want to connect. I want to take this conversation beyond just this one-time situation. And so I go away and I get on my phone and I'm looking for them, but I can't find them, let alone engage with them, because I want to keep the conversation going. I want to know more about the person. So the biggest mistake is musicians just aren't online enough.
Right. And when you say enough, what is enough?
What frequency is enough?
And frequency of content, but it's on the, and this is where I take a step back, and quite often people say, well, I need to be on Instagram, or I need to be doing this, or I need, what kind of post to do. But mostly it's, first you have to ask why. So when I show up at your profile, I want to know who you are, and to make sure your brand speaks to who you are, and that it's consistent across all the platforms that you choose to be on. So one of the big things is the website. You know, everyone is still, and musicians may say, and quite often they tell me, the website's not really where people are going. But for the fans like myself, I come from the business world, and I'm used to going to a website. That's the hub. That is my habit. So one of the other biggest mistakes is musicians don't pay attention to their fans. They're not customer centric as much as they're, well, I don't think they're on a website. I don't think people are going to even pay attention to me on Instagram, rather than asking the fans or watching their habits. So you first have to go and figure out what your fans want. So a website is often, what I typically say, is the hub of everything. And whether you're a musician or any other business owner, it's one central place where people can remember. You're on stage, you're on Instagram, it's one URL that people can find everything about you.
That's right.
Right?
And now, probably that is also demographically focused. I know that people in their 20s are less into websites and more into, say, Instagram, whereas people our age are more comfortable with a website environment. So part of what you're saying when you say know your audience or figure out who your audience is their demographic.
Right.
Am I correct there?
Yes. Yes, and but from just a business standpoint, having a website is just a hub. It's something for your information to keep updated. What you're talking about is we have different audiences. Where are you going to engage with that clientele? So you may not do a lot of work on your website. You just may post your events and do some things, and it's part of that central brand. But where you're going to talk to people is going to be on Instagram, where your audience is going to be.
So having a website is basically, that's how they find you. And would it be safe to say, like, if you just had an Instagram or a Facebook, it's harder to find it? Like, if you put somebody in, a website's going to come up first before those, isn't it?
When you're doing Google search or that kind of, but it's also just an easy marketing way. If you're up on stage or you're doing whatever you're going to do, you're not going to run through all of your social media handles.
Right.
You're going to tell them one address. It's just like your home address. You tell them that, and they can find whatever platform they're comfortable with.
You'll have the links to it in the webpage.
Gotcha.
And then they're going to join you on whatever platform they're comfortable with, because you've done your research, so you're not going to be on every platform.
Right.
And you're going to go hang out with them on Instagram. So your website's kind of your front door. And then all your social media is where they're going to hang out in your backyard.
Now this is important information. I know I'm learning, we're learning. I know that one of the projects that you're going to talk to us about today is that the city is opening up sort of interactive online services to help artists and musicians. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you have coming up in that area?
So for musicians, and I have done this for general digital marketing, I have a whole series of social media, digital marketing, email marketing, website design, things like that I offer. But this is a chance now that I can take that digital marketing program and provide specific information targeted to our musicians.
Right.
And so that's going to be a webinar, and that's where they'll be able to ask questions, we can talk to them. But the real interactive piece is the fact that we don't leave them high and dry. We just don't throw it out there I provide a digital marketing consultation service through the city.
Right.
And we also have programs that are coming up that are music specific to help them start or grow their musical business.
And where can the musicians find that?
For my webinars and all the webinars I do is at mississauga.ca/small business training.
And is that free for everyone?
Right now, all our webinars are free.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, and for the other program, that is an application-based program, and we have some mandatory info sessions coming up the beginning of August. So definitely check it out to learn more. And you have to attend one of these information sessions, and it doesn't hurt to attend.
Right.
And
free?
It's free.
Free information?
Show up.
Wow. Why
and they're
not?
targeted mentorship, free training, free mentorship, and an opportunity to get a grant. And you can find information about that at mississauga.ca/starter company plus.
Okay, that's great. And just one last question for you. So you came from a digital marketing world. How is the music marketing world different from or unique from the broad digital marketing world?
It's different, and it's become very specific in the fact that it's all about the customers. It's about your audience. So much is available to us now, so you can customize based on your industry, which is based on your product, your offering, and who your customer is, and you can utilize all these platforms. So for the music industry, which is quite different because your product is and you are your brand and your product. So now, especially since it's COVID and live events are a challenge, everything is online. So your product is you, and you want to be able to leverage things like live video and things like that, where some of the other businesses, like if you're a business consultant, you might not. Mind you, nowadays live video is really important to everyone,
right.
But it's not as important. And that's why it's really important to first, before you start doing anything, is to have a plan. Have a look, review what your goals are, who you are as a brand, what resources you have available, and then you develop a strategy. What's the right platform that I should be on?
Right.
And then what kind of content am I going to produce? And so musicians, like you said, they really want to be interactive. They want to get to know you, a fan. They're going to spend a lot of time on social media, and they want to listen to your music. So you're going to spend a lot of time on YouTube, producing videos. You're going to do potentially live streaming on Facebook, all of those types of things, so we can hear your music, and that's really important.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to us today. This has been Laura Dunkley. Please check her out. Once again, if you give us the website where people can find you.
Yeah, mississauga.ca/small business training is where they can find all our webinars.
That is fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah, thank
that
you.
was Laura Dunkley, and we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to the Tom and Rick Show. Now, I don't want to dark clouds or anything, but my father passed away the other day, and I heard this song that Tom did. And I think it was a beautifully done song. Tom's mother also passed away, and he wrote this song. So I figured we're going to do this for my dad this week, Wesley Peter Van Dyke. And his guitar is right here.
My time comes and you put me in the ground. Don't you have your heads hanging down? Don't you worry, don't you cry. I lived while I'm still alive. So take me to my grave with pride. You stubborn one, I'm right. Side to sideways, skid marks worldwide. Take me to my grave with pride. So I lived while I was still alive. I lived while I was still alive. I lived while I was still alive. Not my Jekyll, oh, but you loved my Hyde. The devil couldn't catch me if he tried. This is only goodbye.
Right on, man.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank
We'll
you,
be right
Tom.
back.
Hey guys, this is Cooking with Carson, and today we are visiting Thailand. And just remember, when we're visiting another culture, we're taking two avenues to understand that, and that is through music and food. Well, today I'm not going to be playing my saxophone, I'm not playing any Thai music, but we are going to be cooking some Thai food. And today we're doing a dish called pineapple fried rice. Okay, now, let's just cut to the chase here. A lot of people who don't like pineapple on their pizza are in the same camp of they will not like pineapple in their fried rice. But the beauty of this dish today, there's so many great flavors that although it's called pineapple fried rice, you can take the pineapple out of the equation, you're still gonna have a really great dish. It's kind of like Seinfeld without Jerry would have still been a great show, right? Am I right? Okay, hello. So we're gonna make some pineapple fried rice. The key ingredient is this, some really well cooked rice, and this is a jasmine scented long grain rice, the same type of rice that you're gonna have in most of the Cantonese style takeaway rice that you're gonna get from your favorite Chinese restaurants. But the thing about Thailand is they add a few little ingredients that you're not gonna be familiar with unless you maybe grew up in a Thai household. And we're gonna do some really cool things today. This dish cooks up pretty quickly, so I'm gonna do it. I have my wok over here, and the ingredients here, we have some, once again, some well-cooked rice, some pineapple as our star ingredient, egg, cilantro, some cashews, okay? And by the way, I've been to Thailand. My wife and I went there about 7 years ago, and for someone with a peanut allergy, it was kind of like being on Fear Factor, okay? So they do a lot of cooking with peanuts. Today I did not swap peanuts with cashews. I actually use cashews because this is a common, not used in this dish. And I have some prawns, known in Canada as shrimp. And for flavor, I have some cilantro and some lime. So let's get started. Behind me, I have my wok. I'm gonna bring my ingredients over. Let's just hang on to this egg that doesn't roll away on me. And we're gonna start off with some very aromatic coconut oil, okay? The smoke point on coconut oil isn't too high, which means the alarm here at Tom Barlow's Kitchen is not gonna be going off, the smoke detector. And I get that right in the wok, and here goes my rice. With clean hands, I'm gonna scoop that out. And right away, we're gonna start to cook the rice. What we do when we're doing a stir fry is we're gonna move it to the side. And we're gonna start to put in our ingredients. Now, in my household, my wife and my daughter are both vegetarians. My youngest daughter, no, but my oldest daughter, who's 6 years old, yeah, I got a Lisa Simpson in my house. She's a vegetarian. So what I do is I usually cook the shrimp ahead of time, just to, so I can add it later, and not everyone has to eat shrimp. And this is gonna cook up really nicely. It's gonna be great. I got a few ingredients here. One that we're familiar with, a really good soy sauce. Just about somewhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon. Some fish sauce, not too much here. You can see when I shake this out, it just comes in little dashes. I'm gonna stir those ingredients together. And once again, I'm gonna move the rice to the side.
And I'm going to start to cook my egg. One egg right in there. Turn my heat up just a little bit. The cool thing about a wok, the way it works is even at a low temperature, the wok is going to get a lot of heat in there, and it's going to cook all the ingredients really quickly. It's kind of creating a little canyon of heat. I'm going to scramble the egg. Once it starts to turn into something that looks like a sunny side up egg, and once it starts to become scrambled egg, I'm going to kind of incorporate that into the rice right there. Now this isn't your mother's stir-fried rice. This is really good. Mainly it's not your mom's because it doesn't have overcooked green pepper and celery in it, but it has some really beautiful flavors that you're going to get from Thailand, and I really dig this. Being in Thailand, I was a little bit nervous. Yeah, I did have a peanut allergy, and my friend warned me. He says, you know, when you go there, people greet you by blowing ground peanuts in your face, and of course that was just a joke. It wasn't a lie, but I was really nervous because I know they cook with it a lot, and I learned to say a few words in Chinese because they know Chinese there. I said "Fa san mangam," which means I'm allergic to peanuts, and I just kind of gave them that warning, and they knew right away. But really, what they do in Thai cooking, which is really interesting, they use peanuts as a garnish, like you'd put on top of a dish. And if you look at a dish like this, you know, there's not a lot of crunchy ingredients. Even the pineapple that has a really nice texture, in my opinion, and the shrimp that have some bite to it, there's really not a crunchy element. So when you sprinkle nuts on top of that, it really has that kind of nice flavor. So here, this is smelling really good. I love it. And I'm going to add one more ingredient, a little bit of curry. And this is not, this is actually very common to Thai cuisine. And right away, with the coconut oil and the curry and the pineapple, it brings a whole new element and a great aroma to this dish. And I actually have some sliced garlic. I'm not going to use that. That actually isn't not traditional. What they would do in Thailand, they'd use the garlic chives. They'd chop that up kind of like you would with spring onions, and they would add that to the dish. I'm going to add a little bit of the cilantro because with the heat of this, it's going to open up the oils in there and just a few more aromatics, and it's just going to be amazing. And right there, this dish is already done, okay? Really great stir fry. We're using long grain rice. Cooks really quickly and nicely. There's already some residual heat in there. And now we're going to plate it up. So I'm going to move back over here. I'm going to bring this wok over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve this in, this beautiful, hollowed out, with the stems falling off, this pineapple, okay? And this is really cool for presentation, but I'm not trying to be fancy. This is actually what they would do in Thailand when we visited there. Put it right into this. I got a flat surface on the bottom of my pineapple, but what you can do is you could take a little slice off that to make it nice and flat, okay? Let me get the wok out of the way and this cutting board. And just for a little garnish, I'm going to put some of that cilantro on top. And some people really like the taste of lime. Lime just seems to complement almost everything in Thai cooking. Clean this piece up here. And it's time to dig in and try this. See if it brings me right back to Bangkok. Let me get a bit of rice with the shrimp in there. I don't want to toot my own horn, but this is delicious. So you can try this at home. Super easy, beautiful summer dish, and try this at home. Back to you, Tom and Rick.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have two important announcements before we continue on with the show. First of all, we'd like to thank the Port Credit Community Foundation for their generous donation to the show. Our poor audio video man, Les Weller, has rented all of this gear to make the show happen and has taken it out of his own pocket. The Port Credit Community Foundation has provided a donation to help subsidize those costs. So thank you very much, you guys, for doing that. Also, we have a new segment on the show today, this evening actually. It's called Under Cover of Darkness, and it's produced by Mark Hughes. Mark is a local Port Credit guy who last week reminded us that He's usually at Glastonbury this time of year. He is a professional audio-video production person, and he has been very generously donating his time to help us at the show. And he will be producing a new segment. This new segment features Alexander Quayle, one of our favorite local singer-songwriters. So we look forward to that on this episode, and we will be right back.
Shore Grilling Grotto, it's a Shore thing. Shore Grilling Grotto is Port Credit's favorite go-to restaurant. Our food is always made fresh, from our great mouth-watering steaks to our freshly made pastas to our burgers and wings. And now you can enjoy our freshly made meals right in the comfort of your home. Call us today for pickup or delivery. 905-271-9777. Shore Grilling Grotto, it's a Shore thing.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, Under Cover of Darkness, produced by Mark Hughes and featuring Alexander Quayle.
My name is Alexander Quayle, and this song is called We Owe It to Ourselves. Gave up the ghost to the soul and the rock and roll. Planted a garden with roses and grass for our toes. We seldom ever think of those unless we stub them or testing if the water's cold. Don't mean to speak so candidly. This party's ruined surprise. You see, growing up's make believe. In this uncertainty, we owe it to ourselves to always do what's right. We hurt the ones we love when we don't think twice. And if it's meant to be, then it won't fall apart. We lift it to your knees, it would break my heart. Musician's hands with a band and an alibi. Underachiever, a believer of what's wrong and right. He was the sale of the century. Picked up the pieces when he wrote his own obituary. Don't mean to speak so candidly. This party's ruined surprise. You see, growing up's make believe. In this uncertainty, we owe it to ourselves to always do what's right. We hurt the ones we love when we don't think twice. And if it's meant to be, then it won't fall apart. It'll bring you to your knees, it will break my heart. As the crowd wheeled him down to the infirmary, they had his trophies and badges and apologies. I'm only gonna say it once. We owe it to ourselves to always do what's right. We hurt the ones we love when we don't think twice. And if it's meant to be, then it won't fall apart. It would bring you to your knees, it would break my heart.